Welcome to our CCE orientation to service. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Simone Seward. I'm the director of the Center for Civic Engagement, and joining me today is also our newly minted assistant director of the Center for Civic Engagement, who has officially started in his new role this week. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and just talk a little bit about his passion for service and engagement. Armando Martinez.
Thank you so much, Simone. I appreciate that. And so I want to, again, welcome folks. I know some of you may have seen me last week as well, but it was kind of still under wraps. And so we wanted to kind of hold on to it until it became official. And so I'm really excited about this new role. Honestly, I got my undergrad degree in public and community service. And so for me, this is kind of coming full circle. Service has always been a big part of my life, and just kind of learning the intricate ways of how to measure impact and really build that community or build that relationship within the community to kind of grow into something more special has always been something important to me, right? To kind of recognize that there are disparities that are out there, and that it really takes folks with social power and knowledge to kind of extend their own leverage to kind of bring more equity into these different spaces, right? So whether that be in education, whether that be in public health, I think all those things for me have been very important. And so I'm really excited to kind of take my experience of doing service and education to now kind of morphing that into education and medical education and public health. So I think it's a new sphere for me, but I'm really excited to kind of see how it all transforms and bring in my experience and my knowledge and what I've learned over the past couple of years to you and to Upstate. So it's great.
Great. Thank you and welcome. So the way this is going to work today, for those of you who may not be familiar with this, we have our service learning leaders who are also joining us today. And our service learning leaders basically serve as the liaison between our Center for Civic Engagement and our community partners to help develop the service programs. And they also receive credit for the experience. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the service learning leadership program looks like and how you could be a member or a part next year. So I'm just going to ask, because I actually like what you guys have done. So can all of the service learning leaders please add your program, if you can fit it in there, as well as your name or pronouns as you wish to be identified. That helps the participants on today's call and that's being recorded kind of know who you are and who to connect with after the session. So with that, I'm going to ask Armando to actually start sharing our presentation that will start off with a video that I would like to share with you. And just to give you some background about the video, it's called The Dream of Zonta House. And a lot of the programs that we actually have under the Center for Civic Engagement were started by students who were volunteering in the community, saw a need, and wanted to do something about it. So they took the opportunity to work with our community partner to develop the proposal that then led to a lot of the programs that you hear about today.
One of the first things that got me into medicine was when one of my teachers in high school signed me up for a program where I got to go to a college campus during the weekends, and there I got to choose certain classes I could take. And one of the classes I took was how to dissect a cow heart. And when I did that, it was like one of the coolest, most amazing things I've done to date.
Growing up, I didn't really see many figures that looked like me that were in medicine. But one figure that did, in a sense, inspire me to go into medicine is my pediatrician, Dr. Teo. I owe a lot to her, not only seeing her example and giving me the adequate care, but her telling me that anything is possible, and if I wanted to pursue medicine, I could do it.
So for me, my mom was a pediatrician, and so I had mentorship from an early age. And also I grew up on an island called Grenada, and so all my leaders surrounded me were West Indian, and so I always had this notion behind me that I could do anything I wanted just because I had that representation from birth.
It was in high school when my chemistry teacher looked at me and said, "I would want you to be my doctor." And I thought, wow, she sees what I know to be true, and I can do this.
When I went to science class, we would do some cool experiment that made learning seem like more fun. And combining that with my extracurricular activities like Girl Scouts or after school programs, and my mom would work super late, I started being exposed to mentors or figures who volunteered to work with us as young kids, but also had affluent jobs in the medical field.
Prior to medical school, I partook in a program that exposed me to a group of individuals in the healthcare field that allowed me to get to where I am today, and they continue to serve as significant individuals in my life. And I think that this is an opportunity that others should have access to.
It is so important to have a mentor. Unfortunately, all of us do not have the same story. I remember specifically searching for a mentor because I was unable to find anyone in medicine that looked like me, that has been through the similar experiences that I've been through, and it was really a struggle. Oftentimes we're stuck in positions where it ends up being the blind leading the blind, and we have to use our passion and our hunger to drive us to places that we want to be. Here in Syracuse, about 1/3 of residents live below the federal poverty line. As you can imagine, a lot of these children have issues with access as well as mentorship.
Syracuse currently has a 16.5% dropout rate compared to the 6% dropout rate of New York State. This is very indicative of the lack of educational resources that our environment provides, and I think we need to bridge that gap.
85% of incarcerated youth come from the SC, the Syracuse City School District. 96% of the kids that are actually in the SCSD, the Syracuse City School District, go to underperforming schools. So you can see from there the school to prison pipeline, where underperforming schools are not giving people the adequate skills to be able to succeed academically, and they become significantly disadvantaged, and actually that makes them vulnerable to go to jail and not pursue their goals and aspirations.
Despite all of these barriers and obstacles, the real question comes as, what can we do? What can we really do to change the current situation?
Yes, I think there's a lot we can do. In the class of 2020 of Upstate, there are only 2 students who are actually from the Syracuse School District. 2 students out of 160. Upstate is in Syracuse. There should be more of Syracuse students in Upstate. And I think that is how this whole dream of Zonta House started. We realized that we didn't show up at Upstate by accident. It was very intentional, it was purposeful. And if we wanted more students from Syracuse to be here, it has to be very intentional. It has to start early. It has to be purposeful. And so Malcolm and I, one afternoon in November, sat down to draw up a program as to how can we change this dynamic.
When we started the conversation, they expressed the interest on how the kids, change the minds of the kids through their experiments and through the science and fun activities to fall in love with medicine. So I'm very happy. It's a collaboration of the doctors, students, and Upstate. Not only they collaborating on doing science, they also are mentors. This is like a transformation of a child, behavior changing, like attitudes changing, because they're falling in love with science and learning, So you guys, Upstate Medical, have to teach our kids to have fun while you learn, and everything is possible.
So here we have a really cool experiment. We're using baking soda here as a base and vinegar here as an acid. So what we're going to do is we're going to add baking soda to the balloon. We're going to add our vinegar to the water bottle, and then we're going to put the balloon on top and allow the baking soda and the vinegar, our acid and our base, to give off carbon dioxide, which will make the balloon expand like it is now.
I like the fun activities and we get to play. When I grow up, I want to be a scientist.
students. I think the girls are so excited to see somebody that looks like them, talks like them, and it is very important that they know that if they really want it, they can become a doctors too. I think that the limit is the sky. They can do whatever they want. When we start talking about the program, we have such a great expectations, and they has fulfilled all those expectations. They are awesome and they do a great job, and we are very, very excited with the continue of this partnership.
I like that we actually learn stuff but have fun at the same time. When I grow up, I might want to be a doctor.
Great. So that was the video that was put together by the students who were the service learning leaders for that program that is now running for 3 years. And we are fortunate to be able to continue this partnership with the assistance of Maria Presti and Ashley, who are our 2 service learning leaders from the College of Graduate Studies. So moving on with our presentation for today, just wanted to highlight that the mission of the Center for Civic Engagement is to promote and support an institutional commitment to active citizenship and social responsibility through interprofessional service, education, and leadership. And the way we hope to do this is by harnessing the university's diverse academic resources and expertise, including you all as students, to provide service opportunities for all of the student bodies at Upstate, but also for faculty and staff in order to contribute to a stronger, healthier community through a more engaged university. And so the Center for Civic Engagement is an Upstate campus-wide resource. So we serve all of the 4 colleges. In addition to the College of Medicine, we have the College of Nursing, College of Health Professions, and College of Graduate Studies. So a lot of our opportunities are open to, or all of our opportunities are open to all the students from the different colleges. Some might have a varying focus on patient advocation or some specific skill set, but we always encourage interprofessional service and education as we move forward. So these are the priority areas that we at CCE try to focus on, and these have been identified through the Community Health Needs Assessment that is done countywide every 5 years, in which they identified some of the priority areas that also the community has identified as needs or assets. So we primarily try to focus on the social and economic factors because we know that 80% of the health outcomes are influenced by these non-clinical aspects of care. So we really try to focus on what are the social and economic factors that are contributing to health outcomes and adverse health outcomes, and how can we remedy that? How can we help to address the situation through some of our programs that you hear about today? So here are the different categories under which our service programs can fall. So we have 4 categories right now: patient navigation programs, mentoring programs, health and wellness programs, as well as respite and companionship programs. And we have a few examples of the programs that are currently being offered that you will be able to participate in or sign up for. And we have some of our service learning leaders who are running these programs here today that can provide more information on the programs themselves and then how to sign up. So just a little bit about the Service Learning Leadership Program. These are typically second-year students. Right now, they're largely made up of medical students, but we are hoping to recruit students from the other colleges as well in the future to be service learning leaders. Like we have Maria and Ashley in the College of Health, College of Graduate Studies, who are our current service learning leaders. But typically the service learning leaders earn 2 credits for their experience, and they make an 8-month commitment. There is an application process that you will have to go through in order to be selected. We do ask that you have participated in at least one of the service programs during your first year, just so you understand how we're structured and what is required to lead a program. And then for the College of Medicine students, you are able to enroll in the elective PRVM 6423 Service Learning and Community Health that I teach from August through March of the following year. And during that class meeting, we meet regularly for didactic as well as group debriefing sessions, so we can talk about what's going on at your service site, but also what are some of the reasons for why some of these events are happening. And then the service learning leaders also help with recruiting and coordinating service student volunteers for their respective programs, and really help to assess the impact of that program, both on our student body, but also on the community partner, and the ways in which that we can help improve the services that are being offered through the partnerships to serve the community better. These are our expectations as a volunteer of the Center for Civic Engagement. We do ask that you always wear your Upstate student ID badge so that when you're in the community, you can be identified as an Upstate student. We also ask that if applicable, you wear your CCE t-shirts unless otherwise specified by the service site. And you can all pick up a t-shirt in our suite 130 in the Health Sciences Library. You can just ask Deborah Purdy, who is usually there every day. It doesn't matter if you're volunteering in person or virtually, you can definitely pick up a t-shirt and wear that proudly as a volunteer of Upstate. We do ask that you also conduct yourself as professionals and adhere to the Upstate's Code of Conduct. We do ask that you do not take pictures at your service site unless you have written permission either from the site or from the participants. We do have photo release forms in our office that you can pick up. For the most part, most of our sites and our partners have a written consent form for photos. But just double check with your site coordinator or your service learning leaders, and just be mindful of picture taking. As I mentioned, the Center for Civic Engagement is a campus-wide resource, so we promote a positive and inclusive learning environment for all students from all 4 colleges. Given that we are operating under the COVID-19 pandemic, we do have specific guidelines that will govern the way in which we engage with our community in order to remain safe. So all students volunteering in any of our service opportunity must complete an appointment letter prior to participation. And once you sign up for an opportunity, the service learning leader can either provide you with that appointment letter, or you can download it from our CCE Blackboard site or from NobleHour, which we'll talk about in a minute. But everyone must have an appointment letter on file, which basically covers you as an Upstate volunteer in the community should something happen. And it's also a good way for us to track who's been participating in the event that we need to do contact tracing for exposure. If you are participating in an in-person experience, we do ask that you adhere to the COVID-19 protocols at the sites, which will include wearing masks, physically distancing yourself, and regular hand washing, making sure that you have hand sanitizers handy at all times. If you ever need a mask, please stop by the office or stop by any of the entrances at Upstate and you can grab a mask from there as well. For those programs who may be working virtually with children, which we do have a few, we do ask that you be paired with another person, another student, when you're working with minors. And this is actually a requirement of Upstate that this be done. So just to make sure that everybody's covered through our liability and being safe. And lastly, logging your hours in NobleHour, which we'll go through in a minute. But NobleHour is our student engagement portal that allows you to explore the different opportunities that we have to offer, some of which you'll hear about today, but also a way to track your hours. So if you are participating in a service opportunity, we ask that you log your hours and also provide some critical reflection about the experience that you had. If it was a great experience, we want to hear about it. If it was a bad experience, we also want to hear about it so we can help to improve some of these experiences moving forward. NobleHour is also a nice tracking tool for yourselves. If you have service activities that you need to report to either a club or student organization or learning community, you can also track your hours and contribute those hours to that specific group. It's also a nice tool if you, in your 4th year of medical school, trying to figure out, what your engagement activities look like, you can definitely use NobleHour to help run reports, individual reports that you can then refer to or use as your in your residency application. So definitely explore NobleHour. There is also an app that you can download to your phone that you can use to clock in and clock out for at any service opportunity that you're participating in. So now I'm going to turn it over to our service learning leaders to go through some of the programs that they offer, and we'll start with the patient navigation programs, which houses our Helping Hands for Forgotten Feet program and the Rahma Clinic. And if the service learning leader for the foot clinic can unmute yourself and introduce the program. Armando, I think you can go to the next slide.
Hey everyone, I think there's a couple of us on here. My camera's not working, I'm sorry. I'm one of the SLLs for the clinic. My name's Julie. And I can let the other ones introduce themselves if they would like.
Hi, my name is Daniel.
I'm John.
Yeah, so anyway, what we do is we work at the rescue mission, and we have 3 volunteer doctors that work with us, 2 podiatrists and 1 endocrinologist. And we work with the patients at the rescue mission, which is a homeless shelter, and we look at their feet and we take a history, and then we will report back to our 2 or 3 doctors, depending on who's there, and we will treat them to the best of our abilities, depending what that is. We will often give like creams or powders. We'll set them up with some better shoes. They also get like a coupon for free shoes. Daniel, John?
Yeah, so we basically do all those things that Julie mentioned, but also it's a very good opportunity for you to actually meet real life patients and not simulation patients. First year is very frustrating in that it feels like college all over again with a lot of studying and library and not a lot of contact with people. And all the patients that you see at school, they are like simulations, and those are not maybe very realistic. So this is a good opportunity to go out there and meet real people, increase your exposure to like what you initially had in mind when you apply for medical school, or like be more passionate, more empathetic. And then also you get to learn a lot from the doctors. I mean, podiatry is not my interest, but it is very interesting to learn a lot of things about the foot that you had no idea about. And it's very interesting and you have a good time.
I agree. And just kind of going off what he said, it will be actually a little bit relevant for your MSK unit coming up. I wouldn't like go as your review for MSK, but it's just it's a lot of fun, and the doctors are really nice and really love teaching us and are really good at it, and you learn a bunch of things. And there's the endocrinologist, obviously, and who doesn't do as much with feet, but is knowledgeable nonetheless.
Great. Thank you. And if anyone's interested in the rescue mission, please reach out to our service learning leaders directly. You can also just email me and I can put you in touch, or you can go to NobleHour and click on the experience and just say, I'm interested, and then someone will reach out to you from that program.
Oh, and I think we forgot to mention, sorry, we will be sending out an email about our first clinic, which is going to come up in a few weeks. So we'll have an interest meeting, and we'll put a meeting out so you'll have a heads up to sign up.
Awesome. Our next program under the patient navigation category is the Rahma Clinic.
Hi, I'm Mike.
I'm Gargi.
We're here for Rahma Clinic. We're a primary care clinic in the South Side. Our patient population is to get healthcare to the uninsured, underinsured, underserved of the Syracuse area and Onondaga County. So we're open on Saturdays, and we just started on Wednesdays. And so MS1s, there's a possibility some MS2s that are not SLLs will be able to shadow on those days, which is a really good opportunity to come in, see what it's like working with an underserved population and practice your POM skills. And then also the SLLs each work on projects for the year. And we're gonna recruit hopefully MS1s to help us out with that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, like example projects that we're trying to improve the kind of patient volume we see, like get our name out there better. We're working on getting a new EHR system because we've been keeping paper notes up till now. And in regards to that, we're going to have a intro meeting hopefully next week. Get anybody who's interested in information, get our sign up sheet out there. And one big thing we're always looking for is translators. Anybody has a second language and is willing to help us out, we'll take your information down. And if we can schedule, we have a very diverse population with the significant refugee and immigrant populations in the Syracuse area.
Yeah, I think Mike pretty much covered all of it. I think of the projects that he mentioned, the transition from like paper records to electronic health records is definitely one that we want to like solidify this year. So I feel like as MS1s, this could be a great opportunity for people to hop onto that project. Again, like learn how to, it's like practicing for your like graded write-ups that you anyway do for all your POM, like the standardized patient exams and so on. And then to reiterate, I guess what Simone and I guess the other organizations have also like mentioned, we take like safety, especially in this time, like very seriously. So we make sure that we have a very clear protocol for COVID screening for like the patients that come in. And like we'll always like check with them over the phone 24 hours before their appointment. We'll again check the day of their appointment and like do like a temperature screen and like a whole symptom screen. And then each of us like wears masks while we're interviewing the patients and doing the physical exam, and we wipe like the rooms like really well after every patient, just to like reinforce for y'all that I mean it is still an exposure threat in this time, but we take all precautions for COVID very seriously.
Great, thank you. And I will say that if you sign up for an opportunity or an experience and the day of you either don't feel well or something's come up, please notify the service learning leaders or send us an email to let us know that you won't be participating. As I mentioned before, we've had long-standing relationships with our community partners, and we want to make sure that we are moving forward in a very diligent and safe manner, but also making sure that we're holding our student volunteers accountable. So if you do sign up for something and you're not able to make it, that's fine. Just let someone know if you're not going to be able to show up. All right. Next is our mentoring programs. And our first one, which is the CHAMP program, stands for Children's Health and Mentoring Partnership. And that's typically only available in the spring because it's led by our service learning leaders who are in the DPT program, and that program technically is tied to a class that they take in the spring. But we're always looking for students to be able to take on these opportunities for the fall. Unfortunately, we haven't found anyone yet, so if there's anyone interested, please let us know and we could work on putting together a proposal to get this program started in the fall. But the spring program's purpose is to engage children at Southwest Community Center in physical activity and yoga. The program typically meets about once a week on Fridays for 2 hours from 3 to 5. That might change in the spring depending on our COVID situation. And there are different themes that the students focus on every week. So it could range from strength training to balancing to yoga, stress management, etc. Next slide. Okay, so our next program is the MEDS program. I'll let Fanny talk about that one.
Yeah, I can talk about the MEDS program. So in the past, we would have monthly activities where we bring high school students from Syracuse area high schools over to upstate, and then we would do different activities that expose them to the healthcare field and healthcare career options. So it's usually Wednesday afternoons. It's usually a 3-hour commitment for anyone volunteering with us. It would be like from 12:30 to 3:30. And we will have different workstations where we have a few med students or a few like just upstate students talk the kids through or talk to students through different things like heart, like blood pressure, heart, how to listen to heart sounds, lung sounds, stuff like that. So what the one good thing about it, like one of the many good things about it is that we actually try to keep our material in step with the first year medical like block units. So when we learn about the heart unit, so when we're learning about the heart unit, we will have activities that are focused on the heart. Like last year, we were able to go into a sim center, and so that was like one of the first times that the new sim center got to be that we use a new sim center, and we had a mannequin who can produce different heart murmurs and regurgitations and stuff. So I was able to learn some stuff like from there too. Like it wasn't just us teaching the kids, we also got to learn some things. And so we usually also have guest speakers come in during every session to talk about either a career in EMT, nursing, medical technology, radiology, global health. So that's also cool to hear about. So right now we're looking at Zoom options to do, because we've been in contact with the Syracuse School District, and we're looking more at like doing Zoom sessions instead of in-person sessions, just to minimize the risk of COVID. And we will have more information on all of this next week. We'll be posting on your Facebook pages about our next event. So stay tuned.
Great. Thank you, Fanny. And one of the great things about the MEDS program also, it's been running for about 5 or 6 years now. I lost track, but as you probably heard in the video, Upstate Medical University is in Syracuse, but yet we don't have a lot of students, medical students who are from our local area. So this program is another way where we could help to kind of expose and explore opportunities for students to be more regularly interested in science and also participate long-term and hopefully end up at Upstate. So again, the MEDS program is another wonderful opportunity to get engaged in the community. So the next program I'll talk about, unless Takene is on the call. Nope, I don't hear him. Okay. So our Reading Buddies program is an in-person experience that we just got approval for this week. Historically, the Reading Buddies program was operated through our partnership with the city school district at Dr. King's Elementary School. Last year, the school underwent a lot of transformations. They actually moved to STEAM at Dr. King with a special focus more on the sciences, and they had a lot of staff turnover last year, so we weren't able to get the program off the ground. So we were trying to still run the program, but through a different facility, and we were successful in identifying and partnering with the Mary Nelson Youth Center, which is on the south side, to be able to implement the Reading Buddies program there as a holdover, in hopes of when everything clears up again, we can revisit the program at Dr. King's Elementary School, or maybe have a brand new program at Dr. King's Elementary School. But for now, we are partnering with the Mary Nelson Youth Center to be able to offer the Reading Buddies program. At this time, we are set for a start date the week of September 28th. We are working with the site to be able to identify a specific date or day of the week. I'm hoping it'll be on a Wednesday afternoon, since that seems to be the time that most students are available. But please look out for information on this program. And also, if you're interested, the sign up is available on NobleHour. We will be looking for at least 2 volunteers to be matched with a youth or a young child to be able to read weekly. Ideally, we'd like a first year and a second year. That way, if for scheduling reasons or exam reasons, if one volunteer isn't able to go because of exams, the other volunteer is still available to assist that child that week. So definitely look out for more information on this opportunity. Our next program is the Zonta House program, and I'm gonna ask Sarah to talk about her experience as a participant because Maria and Ashley unfortunately are not able to join us today.
All right, hello everyone. I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly because of my location, but Zonta House, you saw the video in the beginning. It is an extremely cool program. In the past, last year, we met once a week on Wednesdays. There were carpool options available. We'd drive over to Zonta House, which you can see in the upper right corner on this slide. And we would start the day with teaching the girls about a famous female scientist, usually a female scientist of color, who they could aspire to be, because I think that a lot of our educational science classes don't really present those scientists as someone to look up to. So we try to cover that gap, and then we do a fun science experiment with them. It was always a wonderful time. I volunteered pretty much every week last year. You don't have to, but it does help you create more of a connection with the girls. This year we are, I think Maria is planning on doing both some in-person with PPE experiments as well as some virtual experiments, as well as putting together experiment boxes to send home to girls, especially because we don't know the virtual capabilities of every girl that participates in the program. So there are lots of options to participate in ROTO this year. I highly recommend it. I had a great time when I participated last year. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Simone.
No, that's awesome. The only thing I would add is that on our web NobleHour, the program is identified as Reach One, Teach One, since that's the official name of the program, but some people also refer to it as Zonta House. Just as the Helping Hands for Forgotten Foot program will also be known as the Foot Clinic, depending on who you talk to. So just to make sure that people are aware of the different names that some of our programs are known by. Okay, so our next set of programs are under the health and wellness programs. And I'll let, I think Rise, yeah. Stefano, yeah, I got it right. Stefano,
You got it right, yeah.
Program.
Oh wow, Steph. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for coming and tuning in. My name's Stefano Gaspard. I am the service learning leader for RISE, which is Refugee and Immigrant, well, self-improvement, but empowerment program. And I was hoping that Simone could play this video for me real quick. It's a 2-minute video.
Armando, could you, let me see if I can do it. Oops. I don't know if it'll let me. Oh, let's see. Oh, but I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on.
I got it if you.
No, I can't do it.
I got it. Oh.
Yeah, my bad.
For refugees, moving to the United States comes with a lot of obstacles, the biggest being the language barrier. So where do you go to learn? But the struggles to adjust cannot all be solved in an ESL class. Hajia Dawn experienced hurdles after fleeing from the Somali Civil War and seeking asylum in the United States in 2006.
That's what happened. So we left our beautiful village of Jabi. I still remember, when I was young, playing in that big field, actually going to the farm with no stress and everything else.
Adon is the executive director of RISE, a nonprofit organization that promotes self-sufficiency through employment and educational programs, as well as after-school initiatives for refugees in Onondaga County.
We asked them, can you tell us what was the benefit?
This woman had to constantly ask her father with uncontrollable diabetes to drive her to work because she couldn't.
My father, who was relieved, and we were able to start only focusing on how to better my father's health.
The largest population of their clients are from Somalia, like Zigwa Azman.
Here in Syracuse, the biggest support was here at RISE, because if you want to set up appointments, if you want to go to a doctor's appointment or employment, you can get it here.
And it's not just families from Somalia. Here at RISE, they help over 400 families annually from around the world.
RISE became RISE just because we knew, like, even if we don't speak the same language, the same culture, but there's one language we all share. People who came to this country as a refugee.
Haji says Syracuse is the third largest sanctuary for refugees because of the support system.
And then we came here, and that's why we came here. We needed help.
And as RISE continues to expand their program, they will always remain a safe space for refugees here in Syracuse. For NCC News, I'm Lilia Wood.
Thank you for playing that. Can we go back to the slides? Yeah, so what will you be doing as a volunteer at RISE? So you will be helping promote the academic, mental, and social health of refugee children. You will engage with children in various ways, including help with homework, build cross-cultural and intergenerational relationships, develop interpersonal skills, and a better understanding of the challenges faced by refugee community, practice cultural humility. And I will speak more about the volunteer meeting later on, but if you can go to the next slide, that'd be great. So because of COVID, right, right now we're just gonna be doing remote tutoring for the month from September 28th to October 31st. And if you are interested, I would ask you to please email me, which I'll send it again in the group chat, but and I would also ask you to sign up, which is, there's also an Excel sheet, I'll also put in the chat. But yeah, like I said, the current goal is to, well, the current plan is to do remote tutoring. These are the days, Monday through Thursday, just for 1 hour or 2 hours if you like per week, and then also Saturdays. And we'll be mostly tutoring middle school students, high school students, and college students. So if you have a certain preference of students that you want to work with, please let that be known. And the plan is to transition to a hybrid model in November, December. So by hybrid, I mean, we get the chance to go inside to the actual RISE, like as you saw like in the video, like the kids playing. You'll be able to go there and hang out with them, help them with their homework there physically, but also do remote tutoring when appropriate. And like I said, the volunteers commit to 1 or 2 hours of tutoring per week. If you can go to the next slide, please, Armando. So yeah, like as Simone was saying, like we track all our hours through NobleHour. So please make sure to register with RISE. And then next slide. So yeah, I will post this Google Sheet again on the chat. Actually, the coordinator of the program wants volunteers to submit their preferences by tomorrow, but I'm sure she can make an exception for people who are just watching this video now and they're not necessarily sure. And and furthermore, like even if you are interested, you can just let her know. Let's say you don't want to volunteer right now, you can maybe volunteer in the spring, like whatever time is better for you, but so that she can just keep you on the listserv. And then I think towards the end of, I think like in the next week or 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have like an orientation on like Zoom. And since we're gonna be doing remote tutoring, there's gonna be like another person, like educational coordinator in your Zoom calls. But yeah, I will, if you're interested, I will send you the email with all the information. Like I said, I'll send you my email, and then I'll also post this Google Doc, Excel on the chat. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Stefano. Also, once you get to NobleHour and you click on the RISE experience, you can actually, I've posted the Google link that Stefano just mentioned in that form, in that site. So you can also sign up there. So there are many ways to sign up for programs that you're interested in. All right. So our next program is the EHAM program. It stands for the Extending Hands for Adolescent Mothers.
Hi guys. Hi guys. My name is Jada. So me and Sarah are the service learning leaders for EHAM. Generally, the program serves to make a connection between upstate students and young mothers who live at Salvation Army in Syracuse. The population is sometimes super disconnected due to all the intersections of their identities. So we try to make a connection with our students and them through a lot of mental health talks and other emotionally beneficial talks. And one thing that I learned from volunteering last year was that they try to veer away from topics of sexual health because they get bombarded with that on a lot of different avenues. So we try to do other things that will benefit them in their journey in parenthood. Previously, we would go to the Salvation Army and have round table discussions with the mothers, but this year, obviously, it's not a possibility, especially because their space is very small. So we wouldn't be able to safely congregate there. So we're in talks with Salvation Army about what a good alternative would be. As of right now, we're thinking of doing a pen pal program where we would have volunteers and ourselves correspond with willing mothers at the Salvation Army who want a connection, an emotional connection. And I guess it would be beneficial to us as well because, we don't have a lot of person-to-person stimulation these days. So we are looking into that. The biggest thing for us is making sure that we know that the moms will benefit from this. So we're still waiting on the word from the organizers at Salvation Army, but when we have complete confirmation, we will let you guys know. But they seem very positive about the idea, just looking into some confidentiality things. And we will also be giving all volunteers a sheet and intro meeting to kind of orient you guys to what we're thinking of for this pen pal program, what the letter should contain, what kind of conversations you might look to have with the moms and things like that. I don't know if I missed anything. If Sarah wants to add.
The only thing that I would add is to stress that if the pen pal program is approved, then this is more of a longitudinal program. We want an actual connection to form and not just another kind of just someone to enter their life and then leave right away. So it has to be a longitudinal program in order to create that connection. So I just wanted to stress that.
Awesome. Thank you. And as Sarah just mentioned, a lot of our programs, we do prefer that if you have the time and availability, if you can commit long-term, that would be great. But again, even if you have, depending on the program, if you have some time and you want to participate, we do encourage you to explore the different program categories so you can get a flavor of the different opportunities that are offered. And then for next year, if you do have a specific passion or interest in a particular program, you can definitely apply to be the service learning leader for that program. But we always are looking for sustainability and ways that we could move forward with building great partnerships and relationships with our community members.
Sorry, so if I add one more thing, I'm going to drop the Google form to sign up in the chat. So if you guys want to get more information about it, we'll send out a broad email as well, but I'll just drop that Google form in the chat so you guys can fill that out if you'd like.
Awesome. Thank you, Jada. Thank you, Sarah. Our next program is the Rescue Mission Women's HEAL program, which stands for Women Health Education and Learning Group. Is anyone from our program? No? Okay. So I'll talk about the program really quick. So the Women's HEAL program was started in 2015 after the rescue mission, which has historically been a men's shelter, opened to accept female residents. And at the time, again, some of our students who were volunteering at the foot clinic also saw some of the women that were showing up, and they had very different needs than what the men particularly had or what the foot clinic was offering. So that group of service learning leaders developed a proposal, which then led to the Women's HEAL program, with the focus and the goal to really help the rescue mission meet the unique healthcare concerns of the women. They did a needs assessment with the women and with the staff at the rescue mission and found out that more importantly, what the women needed at the time was more stress relief and nutrition education of all things. So they developed bi-monthly activities at the rescue mission to help with some of the stress relief and emotional capacity building, such as coloring, mindfulness. They also subsequently had some opportunities to work with their food kitchen to do some food prep. They were able to develop a community garden, as well as develop a pantry drive. Another thing that we learned from the rescue mission was a lot of the women, when they get to the rescue mission, usually have what they came there with, and 9 times out of 10, they don't have the basic necessities. So the students put together a panty drive, and were able to collect new underwear and clothing for the women specifically that were then donated to the rescue mission. And they were very appreciative and grateful for that. So moving forward, again, we are trying to operate under the guidelines of COVID-19, and we're working with the rescue mission to see how this program could move forward, what program activities we could develop. So just stay tuned for this program, and we will be posting more information both on NobleHour and through our listserv. Our next program is our Refugee Health Literacy Program. Any of our service learning leaders here? Nope, okay. So our service learning leaders for the Refugee Health Literacy Program are Apeksha and Neelima, also goes by Neely. The Refugee Health Program, Armando, is there another slide? Yep. So this program works with Catholic Charities in order to teach a diverse set of topics on health literacy to refugees who were recently resettled in Syracuse. Currently, we're planning for a virtual platform where we will be working with the staff at the Catholic Charities to be able to deliver some of the content that we have in a virtual platform that they already have. They run English classes, English as a second language, or new language course. So we're hoping to either piggyback on those sessions or try to figure out a way where we could use the platform, but just on a different day. So more to come on that, but just wanted to at least promote this program, especially if you're interested in working with refugees or refugee families. In addition to RISE, we also are working with Catholic Charities. And as volunteers, you help to build some of the content, depending on your level of expertise. But we also ask that you serve as instructors or teachers to help to deliver the content in an appropriate manner and to the audience that will be participating. So more to come on that. So in terms of our service opportunities, the bulk of them we just went over. But one of our other signature events that we typically have held in the last 4 years have been our Day of Service, or Upstate Day of Service, where we unite the campus on a Sunday all day to participate in a variety of service activities in the community. Last year, we had about 10 organizations that we participated with, and we formed interprofessional groups of students and faculty and staff, and had a really good time volunteering at the different service sites. Unfortunately, this year, we're not able to do that due to COVID, but we are encouraging you that in addition to the service opportunities that we have presented today, we want to encourage you to, again, just take a couple days in September or rotate through the different programs and develop days of service. And here's one in particular that you could take advantage of, which is going to be at the Rahma Clinic on Friday, September 18th, starting at 9 a.m. They are looking for 12 student volunteers. They have a lot of donations that they've been given over the years that they're not able to use, but instead of throwing them away, they want to be able to find a new home for those materials. So if you're interested in participating in this event, please send me an email and I can put you in touch with the coordinator for that, Alan Blaney, or you can also reach out to any of the service learning leaders of the Rahma Clinic. They are looking for students to be able to transport some of the donated items. So if you have a car that you can help with transporting, that would be helpful. You do have to bring your own face coverings and adhere to the COVID guidelines that we've already talked about. A lot of the work will be done indoors, but some of the tasks may require you to help lift things. So that might put you in less than the 6 feet requirement. So absolutely necessary to wear a mask. So if you're interested in that opportunity, please sign up or send me an email and I can forward your name on. Next slide. Here are some additional service opportunities that will be coming soon, so definitely look out for announcements for that. So our COVID-19 testing site at Water Street is, we were asked through the University Hospital to help with increasing their capacity for COVID-19 testing, given that a lot of campuses are now back to school, they're doing pooled surveillance testing. There is a need for increased testing capacity. So we are looking for students to actually do the testing, so swabbing at this particular site. So if you're interested, please reach out to Bethany Crawley, or you can also email me. We also have the family walking program that's being coordinated by Dr. Joe Nima in the PEDS department, adolescent pediatric department, that they're looking for student volunteers to help organize a walking program. Right now, it's set to primarily be virtually, more as an educational session, but we're hoping that as things progress and as the program moves forward, we will be able to offer some in-person socially distanced walking opportunities that students can also participate in. But for now, we're looking for students to help with outreach, getting the word out about the program, and enrolling families from the community into the program. Our next program that will be coming soon is our patient experience survey experience. Yeah, that's a little double. Patient experience survey with Alana Glidden, who is a fourth-year medical student, I believe. So this is really unique because they are looking for student volunteers to help disseminate the survey at the bedside. So the way it's been explained to me is after the physicians and residents do their rounds with the patient, the student volunteer would sit with the patient to then deliver this patient experience survey to ascertain what the patient's experience was. Did they understand what the doctor said? Do they understand their plan of care? And this is a nice way to start to practice some of your bedside, I call it bedside manners, but your bedside experience, so how to engage with a patient, and this would be inpatient and in person. So, and I believe this is also, they're working on getting tablets for this to be done remotely as well. So more to come on that. And then lastly, we have our rural, the Rural and Underserved Service Track, TRUST for short, which is a program that we are currently piloting at Upstate. It is a full-fledged program at Binghamton University, Binghamton College of Pharmacy that we've partnered with in order to bring more of a formalized program to Upstate where we can focus more on having an urban health track, a formal urban health track. We already have an RMED track, but we wanted to have a formal track where we have some urban components that we're exploring. So if you're interested in being one of the students to pilot this program, we do ask that you make a year's commitment. We have 3 learning retreats scheduled for September, November, and February that we will ask you to participate. Usually it's on a Sunday from 1 to 5 and provide feedback on the program and its components. Students who participate in the TRUST program will, at the end of the program, receive the AHAC Scholar certification. So this is another nice way to kind of talk about your service experiences in a formalized manner and have that as something to add to your resume and your residency application. So this brings us to NobleHour, and I'm gonna ask Armando to just quickly go to the site. We will be putting together a training video if you haven't perused the site yet, just to show you how to sign up, how to express interest in different opportunities. So definitely look for that training video to come soon. And then you guys actually can once you click on this link, it will take you directly to the registration page that you can log in and start to create your profile to be able to peruse the site. So if you want to click on the site, Armando.
Yep, I'm just pulling it up now.
There we go. So this is what the site would look like once you've created your profile, and you can look at all the opportunities that are listed. They will be listed under short-term and ongoing. Typically, the short-term activities are more the activities that happen on one day. Like we have the back to school immunization clinic that happened on August 25th. That's usually a one and done. The ongoing opportunities, a lot of them that we talked about today, are more the ones that you can sign up for on an ongoing basis. So there's a lot of opportunities listed here. Armando, if you click on one of them, doesn't matter. So typically, if you click on a program, you'll see that green button that says, I'm interested. You can read through the experience, the description to make sure this is something that you want to sign up for. Usually it will have the dates that that the experience is available, as well as instructions for how to apply. Like right now it says, please contact Samantha Williams directly. 9 times out of 10, it would also have the Google spreadsheet that the service learning leaders talked about today. That you can click on that. But more importantly, if you go back up, Armando, and you click on I'm interested, that green button right there, it adds your name to the list of interested students for that experience. So our service learning leaders, or myself or Armando, can go through that list and then contact you to provide additional information to participate or to sign up, or any other updates that that opportunity might have. So I definitely encourage you to log in, create a profile. You will also see, if you click on groups, Armando, at the top.
Yeah.
Yep. Computer's still slow today. If you belong to a specific learning community, the learning communities are changing, or your college. If you want to click on like your College of Medicine class, that allows you to join that group, and any hours that you add for any experiences that you participate on will be attributed to that group. And in the past, we've kind of held competitions between learning communities to see who can log the most service hours and earn bragging rights. So definitely join your class in your year, and then any other student organizations that you may be a part of, you can also join and have your hours contributed to or attributed to those student groups or student organizations. Awesome. So I think that is all of our presentation for today. Again, if you have any questions or you need help with signing up for NobleHour, please reach out to us. We do have a general engage@upstate.edu email address that you can also send us in from questions about. You could also peruse our Engage website. We're also on Twitter and social media, even though we haven't been as active, but we will get there. But if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to ask now, or feel free to contact our service learning leaders after today. If there are no more questions, we will end the recording. And definitely feel free to reach out to any of us, either the service learning leaders or myself or Armando, with any follow-up questions. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe.